Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 14th meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. We're going to move right to the public hearings. Calling agenda item number 1, transfer application number 22-24398 from Rainbow State Investments Inc. DBA Million Restaurant. Ms. Melcher.
Good afternoon, chairs and commissioners. Robin Melcher on behalf of the applicant, Rainbow State Investments, Inc. And to my right is Charlene Miura, the president of the applicant. We have reviewed the report and there are no amendments or changes.
Thank you. Ms. Harai.
Thank you, Madam Interim Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. And for the record, a summary of the September 22nd preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Commissioner Hollinger prior to the public hearing.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for the applicant? Of action?
Motion. Application number 22-24398.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 22-24398. Any objections or reservations? And I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Calling agenda item number 2, application number 22-23464 from Lonnie Spirits LLC. Oxiana, Mr. Zibakalau.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the commission, Mia Oxiana on behalf of the applicant.
Hello, Commissioners Emmanuel Zibakalam here to assist.
Thank you. Ms. Harai.
Thank you, Madam Interim Chair and Commissioners. This matter was continued from the September 29th. Setting public hearing kept open in order to have an amended affidavit of mailing filing. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. And for the record, a summary of the April 14th preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Interim Chairman prior to the public hearing. In this manner, and I will note for the record that the amended affidavit of mailing was filed on October 6th of 2022. The statute does require that this information be on file for 7 business days. The suggestion or recommendation we're making is that if the commission would make approval effective as of Monday, October 17th, that statutory requirements will have been met.
Thank you, Ms. Harai. Commissioners, do you have any questions or type of action for the applicant?
I don't have any questions, but my motion will be to approve application number 22-23464 with the verbiage that it would take effect on Monday, October 17th, 2022. Correct, Steve?
Yes. Sorry, before we act on that motion, I do have a few comments.
Oh, sorry.
And Ms. Obsiana, I know you've been very patient in this application, so I apologize for any further delay there is, but I did want to walk through the Tide House complaints that were not complaints, but issues that were raised in the investigative report. Those do come up frequently. So I did want to just put some comments down for the record. Before I do that, I know you did have a few comments that were written in the investigative report. Do you have any further comments?
I don't believe with respect to that particular topic, but I'm happy to address any questions that you might have.
Okay. I just want to quickly walk through this statute. This does, like I said, come up frequently. So I just want to put some comments down for the record. I have my rule book in front of me, and I'm going to quote a portion of section 281-42, the relevant provision that is cited in the investigative report. It says that it shall be unlawful for any person holding a manufacturer's license or a wholesale dealer's license to induce the purchases of a retail licensee by : and then it enumerates various actions or what federal law calls means of inducements. There are 8 of them. Federal law expressly states that this is not exhaustive. Other factors could be included, but that there are 8 enumerated means of inducement under the statute. You are correct in stating in your investigative report that federal law is not applicable in this case because we have no interstate commerce. I agree with that statement. However, because the state of Hawaii has essentially codified the federal Tide House rules in section 281-42, we should take a look at those rules as well under state law. Section 281-42 subsection C does state that we must, we shall, when construing subsection A, which I just quoted, we must look to federal rules, decisions, and guidelines when we're interpreting this law. So for myself, and again, I speak for myself, not the entire commission, but I see three principal requirements, all of which must be present for a tied house violation to be stated. One is person, which is a defined term under section 281-1. Two would be a means of inducement, being one of those 8 enumerated actions or other actions per the federal guidelines of it being non-exhaustive. And then third, this idea of exclusion, which is under federal law, but we're bringing that in under 281-42C. For person, I don't want to get into the definition. Again, I don't want to take too much time, but I would note that the definition of 281-1 is clear. It defines who is considered the holder of a license. This cannot be construed, it should not be construed to include anything that's not expressly stated in that definition. What I want to focus on is the means of inducements and the exclusion aspects. So in my opinion, this state is constructed both on the state and the federal level to be a prohibitive statute. And that is to say that it's prohibiting specific conduct to induce the purchase of a retail licensee. So these subsections 1 through 8, they're drafted with inducement in mind, and inducement must be present and in parallel with those activities. Another crucial factor here is that inducement requires an element of intent. Induce is defined as to succeed in persuading or influence. So there's an intent to do an act and to have that act come to fruition. And that is something that we must consider when we're looking at means of inducement under this statute. Otherwise, I think the statute would just simply list prohibited conduct, and that's obviously not what is required, or else they wouldn't have included the language to induce the purchases of a retail licensee. It would just be strictly prohibited conduct that a licensee is not allowed to do. And finally, this idea of exclusion. So federal law requires that the inducement actually result in the exclusion in whole or in part of such products sold or offered by sale of by other persons. So not only do you have to have the intent of inducement, you have to actually show and demonstrate that there was discernible conduct on the part of the retail licensee that excluded other parties. And so I don't find that present here. Again, this is a statute that does prohibit conduct. It is not a statute that determines eligibility. All of those factors must be present and proven. I think in the case of an applicant who doesn't have a license yet, I don't even know if this would be applicable, in the simple sense that when this statute under federal law was promulgated in the 1930s, it was meant to prohibit manufacturers who at the time held a lot of power and influence in the communities, to prohibit them from inducing the retailers who had very limited power. There was a relationship of coercion that was going on in the 1930s. That coercion and that pressure simply couldn't be there if the applicant doesn't hold a license. That the influence wouldn't be there to coerce or to induce any purchases of the retail licensee. So I guess that's a long-winded comment. I apologize for that, but I do want to state for the record that I don't see tied house as being relevant in this case, and in many cases for applicants generally.
Thank you. I do agree with your interpretation about the application, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
I don't have any thorough analysis of the law, the rules like Commissioner Buckley, but I want to thank you in this process.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so my comments are the same. Thanks for the time we've had to go through all of this, but again, I'll make my motion again. So my motion will be to approve application number 22-23464 with the verbiage that the effective date would be Monday, October 17, 2022.
Like,
Been moved and seconded to approve application number 22-23464 with the effective date of October 17, 2022. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks. Calling agenda item number 3, application number 24448 from Le Cafe Fin LLC DBA Rock and Rolls.
Good evening.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, before we proceed to this matter, let the record reflect that I must recuse myself from application number 22-2448 due to a potential conflict of interest.
Thank you.
Aloha. Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. My name is Zachary Diano. I'm the authorized agent for the Cafe Fin LLC. To my right is Frank Nguyen, who is a member of the Cafe Fin LLC.
Any corrections to the licensing investigative report?
We reviewed the licensing investigative report and have no further comments or questions at this time.
Mr. Ryan,
Thank you, Madam Interim Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
thank you, Mr. Ryan. Any questions or type of action for the applicant?
And motion will be to approve application number 22-24448.
Second,
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 22-24448. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good evening.
Agenda item number 4, application number 22-24611 from 7-Eleven stores. Mr.
Thank you,
Wu.
Madam Interim Chair, Commission members, Kenneth Hu appearing for the applicant. To my right, Slade Yokotake, YOKOTAKE, Director of Human Resource and Authorized Agent.
Have any corrections for the investigative licensing report?
We made some comments at the preliminary hearing, but with regard to the conclusion or the opinion with regard to the existing license, cabaret license, which is in safekeeping, I understand that the attorney for the existing licensee has sent a letter voicing his non-objection to the issuance of this license.
Yes, we have received that letter from Mr. Keith Cucci Esquire.
Yes.
Get my stuff into the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms.
Oh,
Hurley.
that's
Go
all
ahead.
right. Thank you, Madam Interim Chair and Commissioners. This application was rescheduled from the October 6th meeting pursuant to HRS 92-3.7 C. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application. And for the record, a summary of the August 11th preliminary hearing testimony was provided to Commissioner Buckley prior to the public hearing.
I want to make a brief comment to your comment, Mr. Hu, in terms of, I understand Mr. Hughes' position on the private license. My understanding is as long as there are no more than 1 license on that premises, that we can approve this request.
One active license.
1 active license.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
That is the report on page 3 says that the cabaret license must be canceled prior to issuance of the license.
That is the investigators' opinion.
We do have a recent Corporation Council opinion addressing this particular issue when there is a license held in safekeeping and a second license that has been issued and effective for the same premises. That it is permissible. The new licensee, so to speak, takes it at risk that should the safekeeping license be pulled, there becomes a problem with having 2 licenses on the same premises. So,
And Mr. Hu, Mr. Yokotake, you folks are aware of that risk.
We understand that risk.
Okay, thank you. And I do believe that this commission has done this before. All right, commissioners, any other questions?
Well, I could be wrong, but I also think there might be risk to the license and safekeeping under these circumstances. So I'll put that on the record.
But we do have on record their attorney's representation that they're not opposed to this approval. So it looks like they may be looking for another premises anyway. All right, commissioners, any additional questions or type of action?
Shall be to approve application number 22-24611.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 22-24611. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Special license applications following agenda item number 5, application number 23-00590 from Park Event Services LLC. Mr. Nakoba.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Devin Nicola, representing Park Event Services LLC. To my right, Mr. Manuel Zabakalam, also representing Park Event Services.
For the Hawaii Solar Energy Association Expo.
Yes, we're looking at a capacity of about 200. The organization projecting about 150 people. It is going to be 21 and over only. There'll be wristbands for all the attendees. We'll have HQ security present to watch and enforce. And it's Sunset Ballroom layout, so it's a smaller venue, of course. Last event was a funeral and there were no issues.
Be to approve application number 23-00590.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 23-00590. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 6, application number 23-00661 from Hawaii Opera Theater.
Yes, hi, good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. My name is Lori Romero, and I'm the box office assistant at the Hawaii Opera Theater. And we would like to make a correction on our application. The list is on the application, it lists 400, but actually our event is between 70 to 80 patrons for each performance held at our Studio 101.
I'm sorry, could the other people online please identify themselves, please?
Yes, I'm Stuart Zweigel. I'm Chief of Staff for Hawaii Opera.
And I am Jamie Offenbach. I'm also Hawaii Opera Theater on the Artistic Department.
Thank you.
My only question I have is, so you're basically saying the total attendance you guys are looking at is between 70 to 80 people and each night, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. My motion will be to approve application number 23-00661.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 23-00661. Any objections or reservations? And I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you, folks, and good luck. Have a great
Mahalo,
weekend.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Calling agenda item number 7, applications number 23-00667-01.
Thank you.
23-006.
I'm here on behalf of the Shamrock Restaurant Group, DBA The Black Shamrock Tavern. To my right is the owner. I'll let him introduce and spell it.
John J.J. Niebuhr, N-I-E-B-U-H-R, owner of Black Shamrock Tavern.
Do you have any questions or type of action?
Motion will be to approve application number 23-0066701 through 23-0066706 inclusively.
Second.
Moved and second to approve the applications. listed in agenda item number 7. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Applications are approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8, application number 23-00694 from the Arts at Mark's Garage. So nice to see you again.
Hi.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has been a long time. Hello, Commissioners. My name is Mark Tyrone, and I'm the authorized agent representing the Arts Marks Garage. In addition, I'm the founder of Habalu. I founded the event myself in 2008, and I've been either director or co-director of the event ever since. This is the 13th time the festival will be held. And I'd like to just go through a few things about the application, if that's okay.
Can you introduce the
Hi.
people with you?
I'm Jerry
Excuse
with
me.
Events International. I'm event producer and bar manager. I've been doing hullabaloo as well for about 10 years.
What's your last
with
name?
Yamada.
Yama.
Thank you.
Go ahead, why don't you walk us through it?
Review, yes, on the application. I presented the plans for the event to the Chinatown Downtown Neighborhood Board on September 1st and fielded questions from the board and the public. At the end of that, there were no public testimony against the event. And at the end of that hearing, the neighborhood board voted unanimously to support the event. The premises this year are the same, pretty much the same premises that we've had for the last several years in Chinatown, and a map was submitted to the commission. The program is very similar, with one noteworthy change is for many years we had a stage located at the intersection of New Wano Avenue and King Street. So that's the far end of our premises. And we've removed that stage. That is for a few reasons. We wanted to add a central food area. And so we're doing a vendor village. So that whole section will be food trucks and pop-ups serving food with high boys. So it's a nice food service area. In addition, there were concerns expressed by a neighborhood community member about the sound at that stage. So we addressed two things with this, with providing a bigger food footprint and a better food experience, and then addressing a complaint we had about sound from that particular stage. And the rest of the program is very similar to what we've done in the past. Security, this year our security is similar with a few enhancements. We have contracted 56 private security personnel from KT Protection. We've worked with KT Protection for this event for many, many years. And they also work with many of the bars and restaurants in the neighborhood. So they're very familiar with the event, and they also know the players in the neighborhood, the owners of the bars, the managers of the bars, and they know a lot of patrons as well. And we have submitted a request to have 29 special duty at the event, HPD special duty officers. We submitted a security plan, a health and safety and security monitoring plan to the commission. And that includes securing our perimeters, doing bag checks of people entering the festival, and a large number of roaming security through the festival. The last thing note about the security is we are installing a new elevated security platform on Hotel Street. It's where people congregate the most. It's kind of like our town square. It's just naturally where people go. So we're going to have an elevated platform with security posted there throughout the event to give us more eyes on the street. And we had no incidents, but we want to be proactive and continue to have the great track record that we've had for the last 12 years. This is the 13th. So we're doing that on our own, despite not having problems in the past, just recognizing an opportunity we can elevate our security presence, literally. And liquor service, just some quick points about our program. First off, is we've had a great track record with our liquor service. We've had liquor service every year of the event, and through various years, I've spoken with some people in senior roles here at the Liquor Commission and have been commended for having a really good track record. So that's a great long history. And as Jerry mentioned, Events International is running all of our liquor and bar
liquor and beer bars, our full service bars are all run by Events International, one of the best bar service companies and overall production companies in Hawaii. And yeah, they've been with us for approximately 10 years, really long time. And Jerry is on site with the management herself.
I've been doing that the whole time, so very familiar with the event.
Thank you.
And then we have craft beer service, and that is managed by Maya Brown and Women Speaking Out. They do a good number of beer festivals, and that is a fundraiser for Women Speaking Out as well. Let's see, and before I open it up to questions, just want to end with the pandemic's been hard on lots of people in lots of neighborhoods. It's been particularly hard on Chinatown. A lot of reasons for that, but the fact of the matter is the neighborhood's actually in the best shape I've ever seen it. As far as the physical, as far as the stores that we have there that are open and the services that are offering, it's the best I've ever seen it, with our art galleries, our fashion boutiques, and restaurants. We just have a James Beard winning restaurant that was just received that award, a very rare award for anyone in Hawaii to receive. But we have a big problem is that there's been some violence in the neighborhood, not during an event, just on, just a regular night. And there's been a lot of media coverage of that violence, and people are staying away from Chinatown. I spoke with the executive director of Arts at Mark's Garage within the last 2 weeks, and she says she literally watches the tourist trolley pull up across the street, across from Rangoon restaurant. There's a bus stop there, and she says it comes up full with people and it leaves full with people every single time. And she's also been talking to people in Waikiki, concierge and different people that say they are telling people to avoid Chinatown. So it's a major problem. We have all these great businesses, but dramatically less foot traffic. On top of that is Chinatown has relied heavily through the years on the downtown Honolulu. We have this, huge parking towers, all these people working downtown before the pandemic. Well, they're not there anymore. So, we've lost a huge amount of our patrons just aren't in the area anymore. So while the businesses are great now, they need people to come back in order for those businesses to stay open and for us not to backtrack and have problems escalate. So this event receives a lot of great media attention. We've already received coverage from Hawaii News Now about Honolulu returning to Chinatown. I've done interviews already with Honolulu Magazine and with the Star Advertiser. We have Henry Capono headlining this year, and Taimani, some very popular, great cultural artists. And so that, it's saying that, this is a great place to come, and we're getting that media attention, and we really need it. It's a critical time for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Terrell. Before I have commissioners ask some questions, I see that we have someone who is here to testify for this agenda item. Do we have Junior?
Swear you in? Do you swear that the testimony you give in today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, I do. Thank you.
The phone is on, I assume.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alan Stack Jr. I'm a property owner on Nu'uanu Avenue. I'm a hands-on manager. I'm down in that neighborhood every day. I am against this permit. I have been against alcohol festivals for years. Against serving alcohol, I'm against serving alcohol on the street. I support a prudent number of street festivals in our neighborhood. It's not about a street festival. It's not about bringing people into Chinatown. This is about alcohol in a public place. I believe this is the last place that alcohol is served on the street to the public. I think there's some private events. Murph has a couple private events. I don't know what he does, but they're private as far as I know. The applicant, this applicant, Arts at Mark's, recently had a family-friendly street festival. It was a good showcase for our neighborhood. It was in the daytime.
good thing, street festivals themselves. Our community, I don't know if you know this, but a number of years ago, our community came together and talked about non-construction street closures, called the Joint Fact Finding, or JFF, the non-binding conclusions of the festival, of the process, excuse me, called for no serving of alcohol on the street, but the serving of alcohol on private property adjacent to the event would be like a beer garden. Our neighborhood's evolving. In the last 30 years that I've been down there, we've been evolving away from a more bar, evening party neighborhood toward a more restaurant retail experience for a broader segment of the population. The applicant, Arts and Marks, is fortunate to have a large retail space adjacent to the proposed festival space. They could serve their alcohol there. The applicant doesn't need the street for this. I heard a little bit of talk today about a track record. This is just some of the stuff that's happened to me since I've been down here with these festivals. It's important to look at the broader picture, not just what people will put on the table, but what I would call the evolution of our neighborhood. And I think Waikiki doesn't have alcohol on the street. They used to, but they don't anymore. We're the last place, as I said earlier, and we don't need this. It's not helping. I had an old girlfriend, and when I told her I worked in Chinatown, she said, isn't it just alcohol and party? Sorry to end there, but I think my time's up.
You can summarize. if you want.
I would ask you to take a step back from what you have heard today, look at a greater body of information which you may have, including the JFF, and help our neighborhood evolve. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Online would like to testify in this agenda item?
I have a question for you, Mr. Tyrone, about your stages. So as I understand it, you, in prior events, you had 3 stages?
That's correct.
Okay, so you removed the stage from the King Nu'uanu or Nu'uanu King location.
That's right.
And the other 2 stages are in the same location. You've had those in the past.
That's right.
So one question, it looks like on your map, if I'm reading it correctly, there appears to be a stage located on Nu'uanu Kaplan Lane.
So there's that is where the band is playing, and that's been there for pretty much since the beginning.
Okay. And I know if you go a little further, Malka, there's a handful of condominiums. Have you ever heard complaints about noise from those condominiums?
Most years we have had no complaints. There has been concern raised at the neighborhood board here and there, but most years we have not had complaints from that building.
Okay, thank you.
A question as well. So this application, you guys are bringing it under the Arts and Marks Garage.
Yes.
And I know that Marks has a long history in Chinatown, and also that the pandemic was very difficult. So can you tell us how this is going to be benefiting the Arts and Marks Garage?
Yes, in two specific ways, and then an indirect way, but that is also significant. We are making a cash contribution to the Arts and Marks Garage. In addition, we are doing featuring programming and paying for that programming inside the Arts and Marks Garage to bring them business that night. And then overall, I'll just go back to my statement from the executive director that there's a real problem with the current view of Chinatown by a lot of people. And so events, there's not too many events that can reach a lot of people that they hear about, and they hear, good things about the neighborhood. So this is one of the few that can get into a lot of households and tell people, Chinatown is a great place to visit. And so that helps Arts and Marks directly. Well, it's indirect, but it's a critical thing for their business. I've actually been a partner that's been my office. It's a co-work space amongst other things, but that's been my office since about 2009, and it is my office today as well.
Thank you. I have been to many wonderful exhibits.
It's
at
in the
March.
galleries is the best shape I've ever seen it, honestly.
I need to go down there again. Thank you.
I have one question as well, Mr. Trone. There was an opposition filed that raised the issue, among others, that event booths block tenant businesses, street frontage, and sidewalks. Just based on your map, there's obviously a lot of businesses that would be affected by the street closures. What have you done in the past about that, and are there any changes for this year?
So we keep our sidewalks open, and we do. She specifically mentioned the bar, Smith's Union Bar, and the bar is not located directly in front of that property. And actually, when we handed our public notice out, we walked it around the neighborhood, and we did not receive negative feedback from the bar. They actually asked us, please make sure we're part of the advertising. We want people to know about us through this event. But number one, we keep our sidewalks open. Number two, we place tents whenever possible in places that are not directly in front of. There's some storefronts. There's some stores down there that aren't open on Saturday, and then there's also some side of the streets like the Chinatown Gateway Plaza that don't have storefronts. It's a brick building without any doors for really the whole stretch from Hotel Street, New Ono Avenue, all the way down to King Street. So we specifically look at that when we site our tents. We always leave the sidewalks open, and we minimize that impact.
And as a follow-up question to that, and you started to partially answer it, do you collaborate at all with the business owners and try to boost their businesses? And do you see increased activity in the businesses during this event, or is it more closed off?
Yes and yes. We partner with a variety of businesses. And one example is actually entertainment. We're partnering with Y Theater this year, and they are featuring 2 events that night. They're doing, they have some stars from Broadway that are out, and they're going to do singing performances called, The Three Phantoms. Thank you very much. I've been promoting it, but I drew a blank there for a second. So that is up till 9 o'clock, and that is a major part of our promotion. And then they're doing, it's the 100th anniversary. So they opened in 1922. They're going to do a speakeasy gathering after that, dressing up their weigh-in room, which is across from their bar. And they're showing a 1922 silent film in the theater. And so we are heavily promoting that. It's on our press release. It's on our website. It's in everything that we do. In addition, Tia 1024 is a restaurant that has traditionally served desserts at our street festival, and we make that space available. Those are people that actually, are directly involved in promotion. And then, I think we named 16 venues that bars, restaurants, or similar that are open during the event in the immediate, block or 2, and they're on our map. There's a longtime person that, excuse me. I lost a friend to COVID, and he managed a pizza place there that had a bar in it as well. And in the most recent Hullabaloo, they had their busiest night. But he told me that they had their best night of revenue they've ever had the night of Hullabaloo, and I know that a lot of businesses have similar experiences.
Well, I have a few questions. So looking off of your map, correct me, there are 6 bars, correct?
There's 5 cold bars and then the craft beer bar.
Okay, so my question will be for in the bars itself, the manning. Are you folks going to be checking wristbands and things at that point? And will that be a specific person out there, or will it be the bartenders that are doing the bartenders? Okay. The next question I have is on the exit points. I see you have 2 exit points on Smith Street, correct?
On Smith Street, actually, Right, one is an entrance and an exit, all right, there are two that are exit only on Smith Street, that is correct.
Okay, so are all the entrances also considered an exit, or is it just going to be entrance only? Then you have wristband notifications at all of the entrances, right? But the exit ones, there's nothing there, so.
Right, so the other other places are ingress and egress.
Okay, so are you gonna have the same manning at just the exit points? Because we want to make sure if this does get approved, right, no one should be leaving with alcohol outside of the alcohol space, right? Because,
Absolutely, we have the signage and then we have security as well. Again, 56 private security officers, it's actually 10 more than we had in 2019, and we didn't have an incident in 2019, but again, we're being proactive in protecting our track record. And that is absolutely a focal point.
so I guess my question is a little bit more specific. How many people are you looking to have at those exit points?
Yes.
1, 2, I didn't see a specific number, and I'm only asking because obviously, right, we don't want alcoholic beverages leaving the property, right? Because obviously you're responsible for those items and things, right? I know you've had a good track record. I'm just trying to make sure of certain things.
Yes, let me look at my notes here. Yeah, so we've, I have it in our safety and security monitoring plan. We dedicate 16 of KT protection officers to the perimeter.
Okay.
And that's specifically part of their perimeter duty.
Okay. The last question I have is going to be, these people are going to be there. You're going to have ways for them to get in contact with either Uber, Lyft, taxis, or something if they are unable to drive based on, we want most people to come probably on their own and walk, but you're going to have people that are going to drive. There's parking, as you can see within your map, everywhere.
Yes, so it's a great question, and it's something we've accommodated for many years. We have 2 loading zones that we dedicate to loading. We literally pay for the traffic meters so that we, put no parking. So in these 2 zones, no one's allowed to park there, and it says loading zone, and those are dedicated to taxis and Uber and Lyft, and they're located on our 2 opposite corners of the property. So one of them is located on New Wano Avenue, just Mackay of King Street. So it's just up from Black Shamrock, and it's a good length of stretch. And the other is located on Bethel Street, just Malka of Hawaii Theater. So we have those 2 areas dedicated with signage. It says no parking, loading zone only.
And then, so you do have a permit to close the street that's been signed and approved, correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Because I didn't see one in your things. And then,
It received it after the submittal. I wanted to get the application in, but we have it. I believe it has been. I have a copy. I have an email copy of it, and it was for the size of it. I wasn't able to print it out today, but we have an email copy. And I'm 90% sure that it was submitted by the Department of Transportation directly to the Liquor Commission.
okay. So I also know that I think some of the information that we've been provided to read through right there is something that has some type of an appeal coming up, correct?
Right. We got notice of that last night about 8 p.m. or
Okay.
so.
So, Ms. Harai, do we need to put, in regards to the fact that you need to have an approved thing? So,
Road closure permit. So we've been made aware that there's an appeal. So as you know, this is contingent
Yes.
upon there being a
course.
valid road closure permit. So just so that you're aware of that. I did have a couple questions before we.
Could I make, while we're on that subject, can I make
Sure.
one comment?
Of course.
There is a process challenge on that, and that is the liquor wholesalers need that license with enough notice to be able to pull the liquor together and, get it on their trucks and do deliveries. So it will be a license contingent. Will we have a license and it be contingent? Obviously the license gets revoked if the Department of Transportation street closure gets revoked, or is the license withheld until that hearing?
I can address that. What we've been able to do in the past is a number is assigned to an approved license, even though it's not been pulled yet. we can provide that number. If you'll make that request of us, we can provide that number to the wholesalers, but they would not be able to complete delivery until the license is effected. And
That's okay. That handles, yeah, that solves the problem. So thank you.
if you'll make that request by email to us,
Yeah.
that,
Absolutely.
Yeah. okay, so I think the licensing supervisor is flagging us, so if you could recognize him at some point.
Yes, Mr. Sato.
The permit.
Okay, great, thank you. All right. Okay, I just have a couple questions and you'll be familiar with them, Mr. John. You know, as you know, this is hullabaloo, so there's gonna be people coming in costume. Are you folks trained to recognize when somebody is not the person they are on their identification that they're presenting?
Yes, we're using our same, we have two security teams. One is responsible just for checking IDs. And the other is responsible for roaming and doing our perimeters. That way, it makes, there's no internalization. So it adds an extra check, but it's that same security team that has been doing our ID checks for years is doing our ID checks this year. It's a team that Events International has worked with for many years.
Because with events like this, we do know that there are going to be minors who are going to try and drink. So you folks should know and be aware of that.
Absolutely.
That it's you folks are 100% responsible for that, for preventing the service and sale.
Right, it doesn't change the rules, absolutely.
Right. Also, how do you folks intend to prevent passing of beverages to underage people?
Yes, two parts of that is we draw an older audience overall, and we market to people over 25, and typically draw even the majority of people are significantly older than that. So for one, there aren't a lot of underage people on site typically, and two is to have a large security presence. And you know, there's not much for people under 21 to do. You know, there aren't places for them to go. Yet there is entertainment in the street, but then there's nothing after that. There's none of the venues down there cater to people under 21. That's one of the big reasons why we don't get that many, because it's not their neighborhood. And so we have a large roaming presence of our private security, and we also we market and program to older individuals. And historically, the neighborhood has attracted mostly older individuals.
I understand that, but in the event that there are young people there, you know, even a few, are you folks intending to prevent them from getting alcohol? Like I said, specifically passing drinks, tapping shoulders and getting somebody of age to give them a drink.
Yeah, it's our security team and watching everybody's wristbands, and it's the colorful wristbands. So, you know, we can see that, and it's actually very well lit in that neighborhood. The streetlights all work, and it's quite bright. So that's something we've been dealing with from the beginning. And again, we've had a few problems with that for many years and a lot of service.
My bar staff is trained to watch as well. And if anything, they'll call me or text me and we'll be on it. Like I'll call my guys and they're right there.
Thank you. All right, commissioners.
My motion is going to be to approve application number 23-00694. I don't know if we needed the verbiage to be that as long as the street permit is approved, or is that just part of?
It's assumed if the commission wants to make that an express condition, you can, but even if you don't, we would not be issuing a license, or that an issued license would not continue to be valid if the underlying premises can't be occupied. So it's just up to your preference, really.
As long as you folks understand that if it gets pulled, then.
Of course, yeah, we're very well aware of that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
So as long as you're aware of that, then my
Yes.
motion will just be to approve application number 23-00694.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 23-00694. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 9, application number 22-24369 from S Entertainment LLC.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Naomi Cole, on behalf of the applicant, present to my right is one of the owners, Mr. Shinji Wabiko, spelled Wabiko. We have no changes to the investigative report.
No questions. My motion will be to approve application number 22-24369.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 22-24369. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you, Ms. Cole. Calling agenda item number 10, application number 22-24370 from Tropics Restaurant and Ale House. Mr. Kyuchi.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Keith Kyuchi for the applicant. Online is Adam Ertel. He's the sole owner of the applicant. As to the investigator's report, I understand investigator concern. However, Mr. Kashani has no ownership interest. In fact, Mr. Kashani now resides most of the time in Sacramento. Mr. Ertel, by contrast, resides in Hawaii. I will frankly admit that most of the staff was put in place by Mr. Kashani because he does know the business. However, that notwithstanding, Mr. Kashani has no ownership interest. Cash Hospitality is his company that he created as an administrative company for his many operations. By way of explanation, when Mr. Kashani started Tropics, he envisioned Tropics almost like a franchise type of operation, hence the start of Cash Hospitality. With that, I have nothing further.
Motion is going to be to approve application number 22-24370. But I also want to make it known, please work right with our investigative guys to resolve whatever issues. I know you've stated what you've stated, but when we to the public, right, we want to see these things coming.
I understand what the concern is because the optics. So it's not like I'm screaming and yelling at the investigator. So I will work with them. I'm frankly more unhappy with the fact that my public hearing is beyond the expiration of my temporary license. And which is why we've asked staff to administration to schedule the public hearing 7 weeks. So, and I made that arrangement ahead of time.
I guess for my comfort, Mr. Kyuchi, Mr. Ertel, can you folks state for the record whether Mr. Kashani has any control over this business?
He has no control, and Adam can echo that if he would.
That is correct. He has no control of the business.
You're on mute, Adam.
Oh, I thought it was turned off. No, I should be off mute. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that is correct. He has no part of the business.
Thank you.
Again, my motion is to approve application number 22-24370 with the understanding to work with the investigators.
Second.
And moved and seconded to approve application number 22-24370. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 11, application number 22-24489 from Genon Corporation DBA Niji. Mr. Lu.
Good afternoon. To my right is Mr. Ichiro Mori, M-O-R-I. He will be the general manager for the new premises. We have no changes to the investigator's report, but just for your information, they're talking about Shirkia still holding the license. I had a phone call from Terry Lee, who's the attorney for the Ala Moana Shopping Center, and he's informed me that they have reached a tentative settlement on the matter. So by the time we reach public hearing, the matter will be settled.
I have one request, in the event and hopeful event that that dispute is settled, could you provide documentation before public hearing?
Sure, yes.
Whether it's a letter confirming from one or the other lawyer, that would be sufficient.
I will ask Mr. Lee.
And having said that, I think this is similar to a prior agenda item where we approved for 7-Eleven, subject to another license that was in safekeeping, is in safekeeping, and that might be an alternative.
Thank you.
Commissioners, just so you know, I have, as you know, I appeared for surety on the licenses.
Yes.
So I've been in contact with the McCarston firm, which has been handling matters with Brookfield. And I've kept Ms. Shirai up to date on the negotiations. They have reached a point where now the last little sticking point, believe it or not, is the option of alcohol. And you know, we've reached that last little sticking point. We're kind of there.
You don't want to be stuck, have a sticking
No,
point.
no.
You guys have a sticking point.
Yeah, I mean.
Keep that away from us.
It's to be interesting auctioning off some of this one.
We don't have any sticking points.
Yeah. So I'll let the commission know, because the double check is they'll come, you know, they've been running this for me and they've been keeping me informed. So
Mention this to the other applicant with a similar situation, that you understand the risk.
Yeah,
that
well,
you're-
yeah,
that-
we
and
understand
you-
that.
And
The
your
risk is
client
there.
understands the risk.
Yeah, the risk is the homeowner center who leased it to us. So, yeah, so the license has to be canceled before we can take the premise.
All right. Thank you for that representation, Mr. Kitty.
So, my motion will be to approve application number 22-24489 with the same understanding that Commissioner put out there when something you're right.
Application number 22-24489. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved.
Thank you.
Gentlemen. To the temporary license applications, calling agenda item number 12, application number 23-00411 from Red Elephant Thai Cuisine.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Commission, Emmanuel Zibakalan here on behalf of Red Elephant Thai Cuisine LLC, DBA Red Elephant Thai Cuisine. We've reviewed the investigative report. I have no comments and may answer any questions you may have.
YLI, former site of Siam Garden, correct?
Correct.
And to approve application number 23-00411.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 23-00411. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you. Calling agenda item 13, application number 23-00442 from Gashoken LLC, DBA 355 Garu. Mr. Gota.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. Neil Gota, appearing on behalf of Gashoken LLC. Appearing with me is Vivian Johnson, a representative of the applicant. We have no changes to the investigative report.
And this is former site of Takonoki.
Correct.
And a motion will be to approve application number 23-00442.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve application number 23-00442. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 14, application number 23-00540 from West Petroleum Inc. Mr. Luke.
All right, this is Jason Kim, the owner, and the record reflect Wayne Luke as counsel. We have no changes to investigators report.
Just for beer and wine retail, correct? Taking
Yes.
over the YPO 76 station.
That's correct.
Commissioners,
To approve application number 23-00540.
Second.
the moved and seconded to approve application number 23-00540. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Moving into requests, calling agenda item number 15, request number 22-24174 from YLI Mini Mart LLC. Mr. Luke again.
To my right is the applicant, Suk Park Nickerson. She is present with counsel Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigator's report, but for the information, for your information, she has been working at the premises since February without any problems. And she has received, well, her manager's card for the premises. As you know, if you look at her personal history, she had, previous to that, she had no previous experience in the liquor business. But she has been working and she did get her manager's card.
Okay, so you have become familiar with the sale of alcohol. Okay. Especially in this area, you need to be watching out for sale to minors underage, okay?
And to approve request number 22-24174.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to request number 22-24174. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 16, request number 23-00580 from Masal Properties Incorporated, DBA Beer Lab, Hawaii.
Madam Chair, before we take up this matter, please let the record reflect that I must recuse myself from request number 23-00580 due to a potential conflict of interest.
Thank you, Commissioner Buckley. It's so noted for the record. You may proceed. Go ahead, introduce yourself, please.
Oh, hi, this is Kylie Wong representing the Haw by Beer Lab. Sorry, I am the authorized agent.
Okay, and you folks are requesting to temporarily increase your licensed premises for a total
Yes.
of 3 days, all on Fridays from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Is that correct? And this is for the open market events at Pearl Ridge Center?
That is correct.
Ultimately, how much space are you folks going to be using? How much additional space?
So if you take a look at the map that was provided, oh, sorry, I didn't do the calculation of like square footage. The space is approximately 45 feet wide and about 150 feet long. So it is a longer area. And this is directly adjacent to the front of our space.
This is into the parking lot, correct?
Yes.
I don't see a floor plan attached to your guys' application. So
I
mean,
oh, sorry. I think it was listed as Exhibit B. I saw it in the packet.
I have it, but it doesn't show much detail, like where the entrance and exits to the space are gonna be, where you're gonna be checking IDs, where the tables are gonna be.
Correct. Okay. So yeah, that part was missing from the floor plan. The entrance and exit, we are planning to have approximately about 30 feet from the beginning of our space into the parking lot. So on either side of the red dotted area, there'll be the entrance and exit. That's where we're going to have 2 people monitoring the entrance and exit, checking IDs and banding those over 21 coming in and out and through our space.
How is the space going to be barricaded? What
With metal barricades that the mall is setting up for us.
Okay. And are those barricaded areas going to be monitored by you folks or by the mall security?
It's going to be both. So the mall is providing on their side security and off-duty police officers. So I believe there's 5 security guards that are going to be monitoring and 2 off-duty police officers. And then in our area, we have our staff. And I think in our report, I had said 6 staff was going to be outside, but we're actually changing it to 8 staff members outside.
And I see here that you folks approximate that there'll be about 400 minors in the area.
Yes,
day
this
of
is
the
a family event. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you were online listening to previous applications, but how do you folks intend to prevent the sale or service of alcohol to minors?
Right. So everybody entering our space is going to be carded, whether they're drinking or not, and they're going to be banded with a wristband. So if they don't have a wristband, we will not be serving them any beer. Like we're not going to be able to pass them any alcohol. And then we also have 2 designated workers who are going to be walking through this extended premise and checking to make sure only people with wristbands are consuming alcohol.
Yes, please take a lot of care in preventing passing of alcohol to minors. Okay, that happens a lot, especially in these types of events. This is the mall, so there does tend to be a lot of teenagers there. So just please take good care, okay?
Yes.
I just have a couple of quick questions. So in the outdoor area that you folks are proposing, is there going to be any bars or areas where for them to purchase alcohol there, or is it just the alcohol is going to be purchased in your premises and they're going to take it outside?
So we are planning to have 2 tents in that extended premise area that we're going to be having jockey boxes where we can serve alcohol, similar to like how they do it at Salt in the barn area. So from jockey boxes, we'll be serving the beer. Just two tents throughout that space.
And the only other question or comment I'm going to have is at your entrance and exit points, make sure that you have enough people there watching people coming in and out, because people are going to, with any types of these events, you see people trying to take things out as they go. And, obviously you folks are liable for these things and, we don't want them leaving this space.
Yes.
That's the space that you folks have asked us to offer you to do this.
Yes, we're going to be patrolling that area very tightly and we want it to be successful so we can continue to do these events in the future.
My motion be to approve request number 23-00580.
Second.
And moved and seconded to approve request number 23-00580. Any objections or reservations? Hearing vote aye, motion is carried, request is approved. Thank you, Ms. Wong. Good luck.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 17, request number 23-00695 from Any Face Cocktail Lounge.
Afternoon, my name is Judy Foster Long, FOSTER space LONG. I am the president of Anyplace Inc. We requested a hearing because we moved to a new location in February of this year, and we have been trying to request permission to have our 2 tabletop machines, which we had previous permission for many, many years. But for some reason, we can't get approval or we haven't been able to get approval for these 2 tabletop machines, arcade machines. We initially, when they came, one of the machines had been changed out over the years. So the serial number was different. So we remedied that. And then the last report we got via email was that the status was undetermined. And so then essentially that means denied. So I'm here to ask for your approval because I had a note that said I can ask for approval from the commission.
Yeah, I believe that it's because when you move to a different location, so the approval doesn't transfer to the new
Yes.
location. Okay, so you're requesting for 2 specified tabletop games. What kind of games are they?
One of them, it says Darts Live. Darts Live is tied to our dart machines. And so now we have well, you know this, but we have internet cards and we have to register the cards in this machine. It also has like various like arcade games and stuff. It's from Japan, so it has a lot of cutesy stuff on it. The other one is just a regular arcade game.
What kind of arcade game?
You know, like the basketball one. I mean, it has different
So like video
categories.
games.
Yeah, the missing photo thing. I don't know. I'm not really into playing those games, but there are people who like to gather around and play them. So.
And are these games able to be modified in any way that would allow patrons to gamble?
I don't think so. I don't think it can be modified. I mean, we've had the same machines for a long time.
And I think that investigating enforcement would like to make a comment.
First investigator Captain Fontaine. So one of our investigators did go down and check the machines. Neither of them are machines that we don't approve.
Okay.
The only issue was that the Nexus game, so there was a dart machine and a Nexus game, and the Nexus machine had a on the application.
Okay.
And that's why it was undetermined.
Okay. All right. So, but you said that that has been corrected?
Yes,
Therefore,
we took a picture. We had, I can't remember his name, but he has a long Hawaiian name. He came and took pictures of the machine. So I think that it's all good.
right. So we know which machines she has and we have the correct serial numbers on record?
Well, he put undetermined because we didn't have the correct serial number. When he went to go visit, it didn't have. So that's why it was undetermined. But he did take pictures of the machine.
Yes.
Would you need more time to determine if the serial number representing the letter is in fact the serial number for the Nexus machine?
We could send somebody down to check.
I think that'd be more prudent, so we have an accurate record of what serial number this machine does have. Maybe continue this for a
Yeah,
week or
in
so.
that case, can we continue this? Do you think a week is enough time for?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So we'll continue so that we can make sure that we have the correct serial number so that we don't, it doesn't end up getting you a violation in the future, okay? Can I get a motion to continue, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to continue agenda item 17, request number 23-00695 for 1 week.
I could just put something on the record quickly. If
Yes, of
if
course.
the request had come in solely for darts, we would have been able to approve that administratively.
Right.
Because it was combined with something that was a loosely described arcade game, we could not take action on it.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, our darts and karaoke were approved.
Okay.
But it was just
From the
these
prior,
two, yeah,
yeah.
from the prior location.
All right, we'll start this out over the next week. I also vote aye, so this matter is continued for 1 week. Thank you, Ms. Foster. We'll see you. Cheers. All right. Calling agenda item number 18, request number 23-00702 from Pixie Dust 21 Inc. DBA Club Lavian Rose. Have anyone online appearing for agenda item number 18, request number 23-00702?
Wishes to reschedule to next week and try again? Oh, we're just gonna see it. We can reschedule to next week and try again.
Okay. All right, we'll move it to next week. Calling agenda item number 19, request number 23-0073 from Benchmark Hospitality of Hawaii LLC, DBA Turtle Bay Resort.
Good afternoon,
Mr.
Chair,
Ray.
members of the commission. Mr. Rai Robert Uyoka on behalf of Turtle Bay Resort, also present. Participating via Zoom is Mr. Joey Woofter. He is the resort manager, first name Joey Woofter. This is a follow-up to the previous request. The commission approved the beer and wine last month, but at that time we left off distilled spirits just because we wanted to implement more controls. And with that being said, we did impose limitations whereby it's only going to be 2.5 hours from 5 o'clock to 7:30. We're going to have a 3-drink maximum, like I said, 3-drink limit, limited serving size of 2 ounces, and also special reduced size glasses, probably 5 ounces, all would be monitored by an employee with the manager card. The previous restrictions are still in effect regarding card key access, an employee host at the door, checking IDs and verifying that you are one of the members. Additional employee behind the beverage counter, and it only applies to about 8% of the total guest rooms at Turtle Bay Resort.
How are they gonna be self-serving? Are they pouring from the bottle
Pouring from the
themselves?
bottle, yeah, we're gonna have glasses that are small so we can make sure it's only a 2-ounce pour. We're gonna monitor it closely.
My concern, Mr. Uyoka, is people taking shots. I mean, let's just be honest. A 2-ounce pour, 3 of those. You know, if somebody's just there gonna be taking shots, I don't think that that's appropriate. Us to, you know, go to the bar and have the bartender pour you shots if that's what you're doing. But that is my concern, honestly.
We'll
If I can-
closely monitor, we have someone there, and we're even willing to agree to a 6-month trial period just to make sure it's done properly, and we're willing to come back. If there are any problems, we can address them, but we don't anticipate problems just because it's such a limited amount of people that have access to it, and because the time period is so tight. And the room is actually a very small room, only about 750 square feet.
And
So
how much selection of spirits are we talking about? A full bar or a couple bottles?
we're thinking of tequila, gin, vodka, and whiskey.
Would there be service provided?
No, we might have only maybe tonic water or something, but no blenders or anything. It's just, if anything, just, you know, one thing, orange juice with the vodka if they wanted to do it, but very, very mild.
Would the manager also make sure that the guest who pours into a 5-ounce glass pours a 2-ounce pour?
Yes, I mean, less than half. We're gonna monitor that closely. It's exactly why we want a small glass, just so we can tell that the pours are really small.
This is an exclusive lounge, right?
Absolutely, you need
I
after
couldn't- I
party.
can't get in.
Public can't get in unless you're one of the 8%.
All right.
Members.
Also, I know this is members only, but members have children, teenage children. What is gonna be preventing them from accessing this alcohol?
Exactly. That's why we have 2 employees, one at the door and then one right at the beverage counter, right there.
Okay, so what if they come in with their parent, who is a member, who is of age, and their parent wants to pour them a drink? How is your staff trained to handle that?
We're gonna monitor it. Like I said, the room isn't that big. It's a very small room. And even the vantage point of the beverage counter is kind of on the top. It kind of steps down. So the visibility is really good. It's a very unique room. If you look at my floor plan, it kind of
I
shows
did
that.
look at it, thank you.
It's even a circular room, so there are no corners or edges that people can hide. It's like a circular hexagonal room.
Well, Just a suggestion, if we are inclined to approve this request, I would say highly suggest you folks have ice readily available and you folks have mixers there readily available, you know, Mai Tai mixes, Coca-Cola, stuff right there for people to mix with so that we're not, like I said, go to the bar if you guys want to take shots so that you can have a bartender who's trained to monitor consumption there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do like your offer that we could approve this on a 6-month probationary period. And if so, I would appreciate if a motion still exists that your client two things. One, self-monitor the consumption to ensure if this is a plan that is safe and viable going forward, and then come back and report to us if any adjustments need to be made.
Great, we'll do that.
Thank you.
So my motion is going to be to approve request number 23.00732 with the following requirements, that there's a 6-month trial period where you guys monitor and report back to us, as well as we'd like an addition of what type of mixers you're gonna be providing. If you can provide that to the commission, whether it be, as we said, orange juice, ice, tonic water, Coke, some type of thing.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve request number 23-00732 with a 6-month probationary period and report at the end of that period. Any objections and reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Request is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you.
Can I get a type of action for agenda item 20, please?
Item number 20. Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the acceptance of fee and adoption of decision in order for agenda item 20. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The acceptance of fee and adoption of decision in order is approved. Moving into the adjudication hearings, calling agenda item 21 back to Vegas. Mr. Jacob.
Good evening, Commissioners. Daniel Jacob, Deputy Corporation Counsel on behalf of the City of County of Honolulu.
And as to item number 21, Keith Kiuchi representing the licensee, we waive reading of charge and or plea of no contest.
Thank you, Mr. Kiyoshi. Motion to approve plea.
Second.
The moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 21. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The no contest plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on May 20th, 2022. The licensee's employee was found consuming alcohol while on duty within the licensed premises. This is a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $1,000.
The good news is it wasn't a hostess. The bad news, it was a bartender who was drinking some shochu. The concern is still there, but you know, with I've had this client for a while. I've also not had violations for a while since they transferred the stock a couple of times. And this is the bar that even went to non-alcoholic wine for the hostess drinks to make sure they were in compliance. So I was a little disappointed, to put it mildly, but I mean, the bartender's got no business drinking shochu. I mean, it was slow, so what? I mean, don't do it.
Mr. Kiuchi, is Mr. Yokoyama still employed at the premises?
He is. I've spoken twice to the owner since this came up, and the owner has talked to him. I'll talk to him as well, but he wasn't with the previous owner, so I'll talk to the owner. I'll call Cynthia. It's under a management contract right now. I know, but no, it's not something you should have done. This is a bar that controls were put in place so the hostesses would not be drinking. So a little bit different. So,
Thank you for those comments. We appreciate them. Motion to approve the recommended fine of $1,000 for agenda item number 21.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the recommended fine of $1,000 for agenda item 21. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Fine is approved. Thank you, Mr. Kyuchi. Calling agenda item 22, barbecue chicken Hawaii.
Right, it's Mr. Young, Y-O-U-N-G, Ewan, Y-O-O-N. He's a member of the LLC. He is present with counsel Wayne Luke. We waive reading of the charges, enter a plea of no contest.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Motion to approve, plea.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 22. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on May 24th, 2022, and the licensee failed to have a duly registered manager in active charge of the licensed premises. This is a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $500.
Yeah, Mr. Ewan went in that morning and somebody from the kitchen didn't show up to work. He helped out. Then he had to do the shopping for the premises. And he knew that he was the manager. He left the premises, and when he left the premises, when the investigators came in, and he was absent from the premises, and there was no other active managers.
For how long was he absent?
About 40 minutes. Yeah.
I'll report the investigative report provides that investigators arrived at approximately 12:25. The 12:48 is when the investigative report indicates that Mr. Yoon arrived.
He came back.
To approve the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item number 22.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item 22. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. The fine is approved. Thank you, Mr. Luke.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 23, the Beach House Sports Bar and Grill, Aloha Tower.
I represent to the commission that manager Cody Warner was in the lobby at the beginning at 4 p.m. He had indicated to me that they're having staffing trouble, and he asked if there's any trouble in continuing this matter. I have no objection to his request for continuance. I'd ask that this be scheduled on November 10th.
All right, is that available?
Motion to continue agenda item number 23 to the November 10th calendar.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to continue agenda item 23 to November 10th, 2022. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Agenda item 23 is continued. Calling agenda item 24, Encore Barioki.
오늘야 엉포 바로 올게. Okay, hold on.
For agenda item 24, Encore Barioki.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Sukja Choi, 엉포 바로 올게 manager.
You. There's someone else with you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Elizabeth Chong.
Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
Charge 1, on or about May 21st, 2022 in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee failed to have a time card or other adequate record showing in English the month, day, year, and time, indicating AM or PM, and the legal first name and surname of its employee, Wei Kim, when that employee was on duty in violation of Rule 3-82-38.4 sub A of the rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu. Charge 2, on or about May 21st, 2022, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee failed to make time record entries at the time its employee, Sue Chok Choi, reported on duty, and again when the employee went off duty, in violation of Rule 3-82-38.4 sub B of the rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Ms. Choi, how would you like to plead as to charge 1?
어떻게? Yeah, I feel guilty.
And how would you like to plead as to charge 2?
Yes.
Sorry, what was that plea for charge 2?
다른 charge에서
What charge? No, this one and this one.
이거
Yeah, two charges. One of them, one person went again.
그러면 두 개 다 guilty.
Yeah, two person guilty.
To accept, please. For charge one and for charge two.
Second.
The motion second is to accept the fees for agenda item 24, charges 1 and 2. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The fees are accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
These are both first-time violation. The recommended fine on each of them is $250 for a total of $500.
Troy, do you have any explanation on these charges? Or comments?
Yeah.
이거 뭐 설명하고 싶어. 이거 왜 안 했다고?
No, you know what? I like to explain to one person. When again, she was the time card right, but she never put it in a year the 2020. She never put it on. That's why they have the one in violation. Will you please that one drop that? I mean, maybe warning. She's right the time, but it's a year that she never put it on.
Any other comments, Ms. Choi?
Oh wait, can you not hear? Can you? So I'm gonna translate for her. So
Please.
for the charge 1 for Wea Kim, she stamped her time card for the specific date. She just didn't put the year of 2022. So she's asking, Ms. Choi is asking if that charge for charge 1, if that can just be either dropped or if it can just be a warning, but she will take charge 2. She will take responsibility for charge 2.
Can you please clarify and tell me what she did stamp, not the year, but what did she stamp?
She stamped, was this the date?
Yeah,
She put May 21st. She just didn't put the year 2022.
For charge number 1, correct? Wei Kim?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs, do you have any comment on that?
The investigative report indicates that in regards to violation 1, when the Liquor Commission investigator asked for Kim's time card, her time card did not have a month and year written on it, which is a violation. In regards to violation 2, they noticed that Suk Choi did not sign out on her time card on May 18th, 2022.
이거 이날은 했는데 they didn't put the month.
She didn't put the month and the year. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I like to drop in any case anyway. Just give me fine, please.
She'll just plead guilty for both charges then, she said.
Ms. Choi, we appreciate your comment. For charge 1, I'm going to recommend, or I'm going to make a motion that charge 1 receive a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 24. For charge 2, a motion to approve the recommended fine.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to issue a letter of reprimand for charge 1 and approve the recommended fine of $250 for charge 2 for agenda item 24. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. A $250 fine is approved for charge 2 and a letter of reprimand will be issued for charge 1. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 25.
Yeah, so
Bonsai Corporation. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Wanjel. I'm the owner of the store.
Mr. Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
On or about May 7th, 2022, at 12:40 a.m. in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee failed to have the street and/or primary entrances to the licensed premises unlocked during the time customers were on the premises in violation of Rule 3-84-72.2 of the rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
Mr. Lee, how would you willing to plead in that matter?
The door was closed, wasn't locked.
How the,
Right, you have to enter a plea first.
sorry,
You need to enter a plea. You can plead no contest, you can accept the charge, or you
deny.
can plead guilty.
I
You can deny.
I deny.
In that case, we have a
Yeah.
different process. Go ahead.
In that case, because you've pled not guilty, we're going to have to continue this matter for a contested case hearing. We have some procedures that we'll read to you, and we'll also send these to you via mail. Since you have pled not guilty and wish to return for a contested hearing, there are a few procedures that the commission will require you to follow. First, 7 days before the contested hearing, both the prosecution and the licensee must disclose to each other their proposed exhibits. Exhibits that are not timely disclosed may not be considered at the contested hearing. Second, the parties must disclose to each other the names of all witnesses and the proposed testimony of each witness 7 days before the contested hearing. Witnesses that are not timely disclosed may not be allowed to testify at the contested hearing. Third, each party's exhibits must be uploaded to the Liquor Commission's Google Drive by 4 p.m. on the Wednesday before the contested hearing. Information on how that can be accomplished will be provided to the parties and will be available on the Liquor Commission's website shortly. If you have physical evidence that cannot be uploaded to the Google Drive, please be sure to let both the Liquor Commission and the other party know. As a reminder to each party, personal information such as medical information, social security numbers, birth dates, or bank account numbers must be redacted by the party whose exhibit contains that information. And again, you will receive this information via mail as well. Motion to continue this matter, agenda item number 25, to the next available.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to continue agenda item 25 for a contested hearing to the next available date. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The matter is continued for a contested hearing. All right, calling agenda item 26, Huang Jai Corporation. Mr. Lee, again, please introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Anjali. I'm the owner of the store.
Mr. Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
On or about June 5th, 2022, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee permitted the sale, service, or consumption of liquor on or within the licensed premises before or after the hours established by the Liquor Commission, to wit, 12:51 a.m., in violation of Rule 3-82-38.20, Sub A of the Rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
Mr. Lee, how would you like to plead in this matter? Also denied. Because you have denied, we will set this matter again for a contested hearing on a continued hearing. We have these procedures that we'll read to you again if you'd like, or you can waive reading of those rules. Would you like me to read the rules again, or would you like to waive reading of the rules? I'll read them again.
He's gonna read to you the procedural rules that he said in the prior matter. Do you want to hear those again?
No, no.
Okay, thank you.
So my motion is to continue agenda item number 26 for contested case at the next available date.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to continue agenda item 26, the next available date for a contested hearing. Objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Agenda item 26 is continued for a contested case hearing. Thank you. And Commissioner, can we take a short recess, please, for after break? 5-minute recess. We gotta start with all.
Time to get this thing in. You know, we did invest. All right.
Okay, we are now back on the record. Thank you for giving us that time for a short break. Calling agenda item number 27, Kaneohe Kikuya Restaurant. Hi, good evening.
Hi, my name is Calvin Dang. I'm the owner of Kaneohe Kikuya Restaurant.
Mr. Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
On or about March 25th, 2022, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee failed to have a duly registered manager in active charge of the licensed premises during the time the established was licensed to sell or serve liquor in violation of Rule 3-82-38.9 sub A of the Rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
Mr. Dang, how would you like to plead in this matter?
I want to please no contest.
Thank you. Motion to accept plea.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 27. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. No contest plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
It's a first time violation. The recommended fine is $500.
Mr. Dang, any comment or explanation? Any comment or explanation?
No comment.
Okay, thank you. Motion to accept the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item number 27.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item 27. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Fine is approved. Thank you, Mr. Gang.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item 28, KC Market of Hawaii.
I represent to the commission that I spoke to owner's son, Roy Chang. The licensee requested a continuance to November 10th. I have no objection.
Mr. Rai, is that available?
Yes, it is.
Motion to continue agenda item number 28 to the November 10 calendar.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to continue agenda item 28 to November 10th. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Agenda item 28 is continued. Calling agenda item number 29. Uncle Troy's Bar and Grill.
All right, is Gifford Chang. He is the president and sole stockholder of the licensee corporation with a record for what Wayne Lucas Thompson.
Jacobs, could you please read the charge?
On or about August 31st.
Yeah. We waive reading of the charges. Plead no contest.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Motion to accept plea.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 29. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The no contest plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on August 31st, 2021, when the licensee failed to timely submit the names of everyone then employed. This is a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $250.
Mr. Luke?
Yeah, for the record, this was an oversight. And we have done it, complied with it, for the previous 5 years. Just somebody goofed on this.
Mr. Jacobs, this is the first time violation.
Correct. And we, just for the commission, as information, we look back 5 years.
Motion to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 29.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item 29. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. A letter of reprimand will be issued. Calling agenda item number 30, Uncle Troy's Bar and Grill. Mr. Luke again.
Yes, we waive reading of the charges, enter plea no contest.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Motion to accept plea.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 30. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on April 22nd, 2022, when the licensee purchased or acquired alcohol from someone other than a licensed wholesaler. This is a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $500.
It's our problem in that, you know, this is a new manager and apparently we really didn't explain everything to him, and his story is that he didn't know, but that's not an excuse.
Motion to accept the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item number 30.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve the recommended fine of $500 for agenda item 30. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. The fine is approved. Calling agenda item number 31, Uncle Troy's Bar and Grill. Mr. Luke again.
We waive reading of the charges into plea no contest.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Motion to accept, please.
Second.
And moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 31. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on April 24th, 2022, and the licensee permitted liquor of any kind to be open and readily consumable within the licensed premises before or after the hours established by the Liquor Commission, specifically 2:13 a.m. This is a first-time violation for the licensee. The base is $500. We had $10 per minute for an additional $130, so grand total fine of $630.
Mr.
Yes, no, it's a failure on our part of the bartender. He did not clean the bar, and that's what happened on this particular.
Make a motion to accept the recommended fine of $630 for agenda item number 30.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to approve the recommended fine of $630 for agenda item 31. Any objections or reservations? None, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. Fine is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 32, Walgreens.
And Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Rai Robert Udoka on behalf of Walgreens. Also participating via Zoom is Mr. Chase O'Neill. He is the district manager. First name C-H-A-S-E, last name O-N-E-A-L. This time I'm going to waive reading of the charge, enter a plea of no contest.
Thank you, Mr. Udoka. Motion to accept, please.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to accept the no contest plea for agenda item 32. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The no contest plea is accepted.
Mr. Jacobs, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on March 8th, 2020, and was a result of the ACE project license is sold to a minor. It's a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $1,000.
The store closed in January 2021. This employee is no longer employed at Walgreens. After this incident, we did meet with the employees and stressed to them that checking an ID, asking for the ID is important, but also carefully examining it, in particular when it is a vertical ID.
Sorry, you said the store closed?
Closed.
Is it COVID related?
Maybe Chase would know that. My understanding it isn't because it was in January 2021, but there may have been a COVID.
Not necessarily due to COVID, just normal business review.
That's my understanding.
This is the one that's located at Kiawoko at Kapi'olani.
Market City.
Oh, Market City. Oh, okay. And I will note that the date of this violation is March 8th, 2020.
2020, correct.
Oh, I apologize. Did I say May? I apologize.
No, yep.
March
Just
8th.
want to make sure everyone is aware that this is over 2 years old.
Mr. Jacob, this is the first.
Yes, this is a first-time violation.
That store is closed. Is Walgreen of Hawaii LLC doing business? Or is
Yes.
that its sole location?
Yes, we have other locations where that location is no longer operating.
Motion to approve the recommended fine of $1,000 for agenda item number 32.
Second.
The moved and seconded to approve the recommended fine of $1,000 for agenda item 32. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. The fine is approved. Thank you, Mr.
so much.
Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 33, Makiki Liquor Store.
I represent the commission that this is a contested case here.
Good afternoon, Chair. The Commissioners, Robin Welch on behalf of the licensee, Makiki Liquor Store, and to my right is Myung Koo Kim, the owner of the licensee.
Okay, and just for the record, your client is wanting to contest this matter.
Yes, she had already entered a not guilty plea.
Okay, and are you prepared to proceed?
Yes,
And how many witnesses will you be calling?
just Miss Kim.
And Mr. Jacob, do you have any witnesses?
Investigator Fears.
I'm going to go over some basic rules I think you folks are both familiar with. Both parties have the opportunity to make an opening statement with the city going first. The city then has the opportunity to present evidence in support of its case, followed by the licensee. During either presentations, the commissioners also have the opportunity to ask questions. Both parties have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses and also to present rebuttal evidence with the city going. Following presentation of all evidence, including rebuttal evidence, both parties have the opportunity to make final arguments with the city permitted a final argument. Questions? Okay, why don't we proceed with opening statements? Mr. Jacob?
Thank you, Commissioners. The licensee has been alleged to have sold to a minor as part of the ACE program on August 14, 2021. Testimony from investigative fears will demonstrate to the commission that the Liquor Commission investigators work hand in hand with HPD every year and UH to select a minor to go out and have the minor attempt to purchase alcohol. In this instance, the minor did purchase alcohol from the licensed facility, which therefore constitutes a violation.
Ms. Belcher?
Licensee is disputing that alcohol was sold. According to the report and the receipt that was provided, it was for $1, and the evidence will show that in her refrigerator, the only items that are for $1 are sodas, and there are no reports of the photographs of the supposed item that was purchased in the report, nor is there any testing of what was of the item that was purchased. And the underlying criminal charge that she received, it was dismissed. So therefore, we're requesting that this matter also be dismissed.
Thank you, Mr. Jacob. You can call your first witness.
Call Jacob Fears.
Waiting for Mr. Pierce. Do you folks have any objections? It looks like you folks have one exhibit each.
Yeah.
Have you folks reached any agreement on whether you stipulate these exhibits as evidence?
I apologize, I have not asked counsel if you would stipulate. I would certainly stipulate that.
Fine.
Okay, so for the record, the commission will accept into evidence the prosecution exhibit 1 and defense exhibit A to C in the record. Thank you.
I swear you in. Do you swear that the testimony you give today will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You please state your name for the record.
Jacob Fears.
And are you employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
The city in County of Honolulu, the Honolulu Liquor.
Can you tell me your job title?
I'm a liquor control investigator
And what are your duties as a liquor control investigator?
to conduct inspections of licensed premises within the city and county of Honolulu.
Are you familiar with what's called the Alcohol Compliance Enforcement Project, or shorthand known as ACE project?
Yes,
Can you tell me what the ACE project is?
it is a project that's conducted with UH research individuals to attempt to purchase alcohol from both retail or any licensed premises by a minor volunteer within the city and county of Honolulu.
And how often does the ACE project occur?
Usually once a year.
And does HPD work with the Liquor Commission investigators as part of their ACE project?
Yes,
How so?
they have a enclosed police officer who goes into the establishment with the minor and witnesses the transaction.
And what is the Liquor Commission investigator's role in the ACE project?
If the underage minor is successful in purchasing alcohol, the investigator is notified by HPD that the violation occurred and a criminal citation to the seller, and the liquor control investigator then goes and issues a violation to the establishment.
Did individuals involved with the ACE project visit Makiki Liquor Store on August 14, 2021?
Yes,
How do you know?
yeah, I was there. I was partnered with one of the ACE teams that was there that day.
And can you tell me who else was there?
It was the underage minor decoy Charisma Santos and a UH research assistant, as well as 2 police officers.
How many ACE project enforcements have you been involved with in your career as a Liquor Commission investigator?
I don't know the exact number, but I've done quite a few.
And is Carzimo Santos, the individual minor involved in this instance, someone you're familiar with?
Yes,
Is that an individual who's frequently used as part of the ACE project?
yes,
And how do you know that?
because I've done a few ACE projects where she was the underage volunteer decoy.
Does HPD provide any documentation to the Liquor Commission when they issue a citation for selling to a minor?
Yes,
And what documents do they provide?
there is an HPD report that is done the day of that they submit to us for the violation, as well as the evidence report submitted for the evidence that they recovered and entered for their criminal citation, and then as well as a statement form that is filled out by the minor after they exit the premise.
Do you complete any documentation as part of the ACE program and your involvement with it?
Yes,
And what documents do you create?
I create a violation report after I issue a notice of violation to the establishment.
Are these records created at or near the time of the violation?
Yes,
When are they created?
the HPD report, after the ACE project is done for the day, we return to the HPD police station with HPD. We wait there until their report is done and handed over to us. And then at that point, we return to our office and I conduct my report, my violation report.
Are the same records provided each time there's a violation of statute to prohibit sale to minors?
As far as the HPD report and the evidence report by HPD, yes.
And how do they provide you the documents?
They, after it's submitted on their end and approved by their supervisor, they print it off at the station and give it to us before we leave.
So the same day of the violation, you receive the documents?
Yes,
And what do you do? What documentation do you create thereafter?
the violation investigative report when I return to my office.
Did HPD provide you documents in regards to their visit to Makiki Liquor Store on August 14, 2021?
Yes,
Okay, I'll let the witness know that this, all the documents have been stipulated into evidence. We have up here what I believe Mr. Fears is a violation investigative report. Are you familiar with this?
yes.
And take your time if you'd like to scroll through it. Can you tell me what this document is?
Parents cannot see the monitor. I can see in my monitor a blank image of it. Can you identify for the record what you're publishing?
I'd prefer you guys see it. I don't know if that's possible. I believe in previous instances, you've been able to see the exhibit. Is that correct?
Yeah, you have to share your screen.
Want me to show?
The records to reflect that the commissioners can now see what's being published to the witness.
Okay, so I believe we scrolled, this is one big document, and I apologize, it may have been easier if we base stamps, but the first 3 pages, I asked you if you're familiar with that document, are you?
Yes,
And what is that document?
that is my investigative report.
And is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes,
And what did you create this?
I believe it was could be written on the first page, the day of the violation, August 14th, 2020.
If we scroll through, can you tell me what this document is?
Yes, that's a photocopy of the notice of violation that I issued to Makiki.
And so this is a Liquor Commission investigator violation.
Yes,
Is that independent from the criminal aspect of this?
yes.
And now I'm showing a Honolulu Police Department incident report. It looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pages long. Are you from?
The 4th page is the evidence.
Oh, that I apologize. So are you familiar with the Honolulu Police Department investigative report?
Yes,
And how are you familiar with this?
through past ACE projects that we have conducted with the Honolulu Police Department.
Is this the document that you would have received the day of the incident?
Yes.
And what is your understanding this document represents as far as to what happened?
The officer, the plainclothes officer that went in with the minor and observed the sale is Officer James Quinones. And this is his incident report stating that there was a 12-ounce Bud Light that was sold to the underage decoy.
And you were on the scene when this happened, correct?
I was not in the store at the time. I was in the area of the business.
And you were there for the purpose of working with the HPD on the ACE project.
Yes.
And you corrected me. The 4th page here actually is first Honolulu Police Department evidence report. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
How are you familiar with this document?
It is evidence report that's submitted, that's created anytime HPD has evidence to recover. And this was given to me as part of their investigative report, the criminal citation that they issued to the seller at Makiki.
And what does it indicate was collected as evidence as part of this operation?
A 12-ounce Bud Light can.
Did you ever see the Bud Light can?
Yes, I did.
When did you see the Bud Light can?
When we returned to the HPD station and we were waiting for their reports, the officers involved in the incident were preparing their evidence to submit to their evidence room for the criminal citation that was issued.
You're familiar what a Bud Light can looks like?
Yes, sir.
And is that through your experience as a liquor commission or liquor commission investigator?
Through my training and experience, yes.
The next page is titled University of Hawaii Office of Public Health Studies Off-Premise Alcohol Compliance Checks Minor Statement Form. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with this document?
This is also part of the ACE program. This is what the underage decoy fills out after they visit every establishment. And this form is filled out regardless if there was a violation or not.
And can you tell me what this document represents happened at the incident?
Yes, so this represents that the minor went in approximately 4:09 p.m. She was able to purchase a 12-ounce can of Bud Light. It states that the clerk did not ask for any identification and did not ask if she was 21 years old.
And does it also provide what conversation happened?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what conversation this document represents happened?
Yes, so the conversation between the clerk and the underage decoy, it looks like they were checking out and she was charged $1.05 and asked for a receipt.
No ID was asked for.
No.
And the individual was not asked if they were 21. Is that correct?
Correct.
Next is off-premise alcohol compliance checks evidence bills. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with this document?
It is the document that's submitted. So all the monies that is used during these operations are pre-recorded. That way, if a violation does occur, the officer can go back in and retrieve the bill that was used.
Now, is this a document that's frequently produced and made available to you as part of your role in the ACE project?
Yes.
And can you tell me what this document is?
It is a photocopy of the receipt that the underage decoy received after the purchase.
And is this typical evidence that's collected in these ACE project operations?
Yes.
And can you tell me who this is?
That is the underage decoy. At the time, she was underage decoy, Charisma Santos.
And this is an individual that has this individual frequently been involved in ACE compliance?
Yes,
And how many years, if you, best of your understanding?
I've done the ACE project for at least 2 years now.
And how long has Ms. Santos been involved?
Years she was on the team.
Are you ever aware of Ms. Santos purchasing anything other than Bud Light
Yes,
as part of her operation?
yes. Bud Light is not always made of it. It's not always available. It depends on the establishment, but they usually try to stick to purchasing the same type of alcohol.
But alcohol.
Yes,
Have you ever aware of an instance where a minor that's working hand in hand with HPD and Liquor Commission investigators as part of the ACE project went into a shop and purchased something other than alcohol?
no,
Would that defeat the intent of the project?
yes.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Belcher, you can cross-examine the witness.
I have a couple questions. There is no photo of the item that was purchased in your report, correct?
Correct.
There is also no testing report of the item that was purchased in your report, correct?
Correct.
I don't have no further questions.
Recommend redirect.
I just have one follow-up. Are all these records kept in the regular course of your business as a Liquor Commission investigator?
What records is that?
All the records we reviewed?
Yes.
No further questions.
Commissioners, any questions for the witness? Use as a witness, Mr. Pierce, thank you. Do you have any other?
I do not.
Do you have any other evidence?
No, I do not.
Could you rest?
Yes.
Ms. Belcher, can you call your witness?
Call Mrs. Kim.
I'm gonna swear you in. Could you raise your hand? Do you swear that the testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Can you please state your name for the record? Okay. And are you the owner of Makiki Liquor Store?
Yes,
And how long have you owned the store?
11 years.
I want to show you what has been marked as defense exhibits A through C.
Yes,
And can you please describe what the photograph depicts?
on this photograph, all soda with 31.
So all your canned sodas
So
is
one-
$1. Okay. And was this photograph made at or near the time of the incident, August 14, 2021?
Yes.
And do you remember the incident that happened on August 14, 2021? Can you please?
It's so slow. I was laying down, and she laying down. I get up. I walk into cash register. She came already with one blue can, holding like that. She wear muumuu that day. I remember her. She wear muumuu. I don't think she mind. And her hand like this. So I think that's taxi. So I charge $1.05. After that, she wanna receive. She give me no beer costs $1. If I wanna make it money to sell minor, it's $1.70. It's not $1.
Oh, so let's look at Exhibit B. Okay. Can you explain to the commission what is this photograph?
This one is beer. I charge one can beer, $1.50.
Okay. Exhibit C, can you explain to the commission what that depicts?
It's Bud Light. 178 I charge. That is same Pepsi and Cola.
Okay, so for, you're saying for any sodas, no matter what
What?
soda, is $1.
Yes.
Okay, and when she came to your register, she purchased
Yeah. Soda.
soda.
So she holding hand like this, blue can actually I think so. So I check. If she put like this in a beer, then I ask him. Like, she holding like the blue can, the $1 soda.
And can you explain the difference when someone comes to your store to purchase anything from your store, whether it's soda or
When,
beer?
when they younger coming, my place all inside soda. But when the beer section is different, small hallway, you gotta import stepping, then all the beer in there.
Okay.
So even I laying down, I can tell this beer, you open the door last line. So you have to open all the way, then grab the beer. When they slam the door, then I can tell this beer. But this can you just open right there. That's why I know she grabbed the Pepsi. That's why I charge $1.
No further questions.
Mr. Jacob?
Do you sell Bud Light in your store in 12-ounce cans?
Yeah.
And I believe the exhibit, is that the Bud Light
Yeah,
can?
yeah. 1 second.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Attorney Redirect?
Well, let me just confirm. The prosecution's exhibit.
What?
For the receipt.
Oh, yeah. Want to show you the receipt that the prosecution provided in the report. And is this the receipt that you provided to the minor?
Yeah, she
Yes,
give me $20 bill.
right. And this represents the purchase of
Soda.
a soda. Okay. No further questions.
Commissioners, any questions for the witness?
So when she took the can out of the window, did she put it on the counter in front of you?
No, she waiting.
How far away was she when she was holding it? How far away from you?
No, right in from me. This cash register, she's right over there.
Okay, but she didn't put the can in front of you on top of the counter. She held it the whole time.
No, she was holding.
I have a couple of questions. Ms. Kim, you said you were laying down when the person came in.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were laying down? Were you taking a nap?
No,
or
even I
something?
lay down, I can see she coming.
What were you doing? Why were you laying down? Okay. And can either counsel pull up the defense photographs, please? On if you can scroll down just a little bit, stop there. A little bit, right there. So Ms. Kim, we're now looking, we're showing you on the computer monitor your exhibit A and the first page. And if you look to the left of the image, there appears to be a Pepsi? What is the beverage to the right of it? It's a blue can as well, right?
Yeah.
Is that a Pepsi as well? That's a blue can.
Yeah.
Now, could you please scroll down to the third page of Exhibit A? One more page down. So if you look at the third page of Exhibit A, Ms. Kim, it looks like there's 2 cans of what's called natural ice. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And if you look to the right, what is that blue
Bud
can? What is that?
Or like,
Bud Light. How do you know it's Bud Light?
because we put or like 178, it's different price.
And you can tell from this image that this is
Yeah.
Bud Light, not a
Bud
diet or Pepsi.
So I put blue can. That's why I think she put in Bud Light,
Okay.
not the Pepsi.
Okay, I don't have any further questions. Thank you. And unless commissioners have any follow-up questions, you're excused as a witness.
I have
Ms.
one question.
Oh, sorry.
It was represented before that the criminal case was dropped. Do you have an understanding of why that criminal case was dropped?
No, I just found out it was dismissed. The case was dismissed.
As a witness, thank you, but you can stay.
Yeah.
And Ms. Melcher, do you have any other witnesses?
No,
Any other evidence?
no,
Does the defense rest?
Yeah.
We'll go and move on to closing arguments, starting with Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you. The ACE project has been an operation that this commission has been familiar with for years. It's been around for a long time. HPD works hand in hand with UH and the Liquor Commission investigators to go out and make sure that our licensees are not selling to minors. In this instance, it's hard to believe that the ACE project minor went in and purchased a Pepsi. That would be completely opposite to the entire purpose of the ACE project. Testimony indicated that this is a regular minor who's been involved with the ACE project many times before. The police report indicates that they did receive a 12-ounce can of Bud Light as evidence. Investigator Fears also testified that he saw the Bud Light that was taken from the license or taken from the minor after she purchased it from the licensee. I'll also mention that the licensee admitted in her direct examination that she didn't think the minor was, or the individual was a minor. So I do believe there's sufficient evidence here to show that the licensee was mistaken, thought that she was not a minor, certainly was not looking at the product she was selling as closely as she could have been. And we have to remember that liquor licenses are a privilege. And to sell liquor, you're held to the highest responsibility. And one of the largest prohibitions on the books that this commission takes seriously is the sell to minors. And so it's very important for every licensee to ensure that what they're selling is, when they are selling alcohol, that they know they're selling alcohol and they take all the proper precautions, regardless of what age they think they are, to make sure the person is ID'd and asked whether they're 21 to ensure that liquor is not sold to a minor. Thank you.
Ms. Melcher?
Been the owner of Makiki Liquor Store for over 11 years, and she does take her responsibilities with respect to the Liquor Commission laws and the rules seriously. She doesn't have any violations since she owned it for 11 years. She did not believe she was sold the person beer. She believed she sold the person soda and was charged for a soda. There is no photos of the item that was purchased in the report. There is no testing report of the item that was purchased in the report. The underlying criminal charge related to this incident was dismissed. Therefore, I believe that this matter should also be dismissed because she honestly felt she sold a soda. She had no proof. She asked for them to show her what item this person had purchased, and they told her that she already was gone. There's no photos of the item that was purchased in the report. And again, there's no testing of the item. Her understanding was she sold a soda and was charged for a soda. And like I said, she takes her responsibilities with respect to the Liquor Commission rules very seriously. And she has never had a violation of this sort for the 11 years that she's operated. She's the only one running the store. She works from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, 7 days a week, because this is her livelihood. And why would she try to sell a can of soda or charge a can of soda if it was beer, when a beer is clearly more expensive than a can of soda? And that's not something that she would do. And like I said, she does take this very seriously. And, again, the matter was dismissed in the underlying criminal case. And we respect that also be dismissed.
That the result of the criminal investigation has no bearing whatsoever on this commission's findings. And it's completely irrelevant.
Thank you very much. We're gonna now deliberate.
Deliberate. for giving us that time to deliberate. Before, actually, no. Oh, yeah, go ahead with the motion.
Chair, my motion is going to be to find that the allegations are sustained.
Then moved and seconded to find the allegations sustained. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. Motion is carried. The allegations have been sustained.
Mr. Jacob, what's your recommendation?
It's a first time violation. The recommended fine is $1,000.
Thank you. It's going to be to issue a fine of $500.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to issue a fine of $500. Before I take action on that motion, I just wanted to say that we do believe that it was an honest mistake. But that being said, sale to minors, it's strict liability. You know, you are responsible. And the ACE project has taken a lot of effort to put in with the HPD partnership, as well as the University of Hawaii Medical School and the Liquor Commission. So it's a very coordinated effort, and the decoys that we select are very thorough and good at what they do. So we do believe it was an honest mistake that we thought we were selling a soda, but at the same time, we need to take more care. We need to pay better attention, have them put the can down on the counter so you can see exactly what it is. Making sure any sale to minors, you are checking ID and making sure that they are 21. Okay, so but because we do think this was an honest mistake and we have been an upstanding licensee, we checked the records, and since you have been in ownership of this establishment, you have not had violations. So in that regard, that's why we were looking at, that's why we were reducing the fine from the recommended amount to 1,000, so that to 500, so that you can take better care next time. Okay.
She understands that because in fact, she just mentioned she has several of those letters from the UH program saying that, you know, I guess they came to her store and she
We
checks.
understand. So like I said, we understand that this was an honest mistake. However, it was a mistake and the sale to minor did occur. So that being said, I also vote aye on the motion, and the motion is carried. The fine of $500 is approved. Thank you very much.
Both counsel for professional presentation.
Yes, thank you very much. Moving on to other business, calling agenda item number 34, in administrative matters, Ms. Harai.
No, nothing to add to what I circulated earlier today.
Thank you. Seeing as there's no other business on the agenda, we are adjourned.